slightly ahead of schedule. Thank you so much for coming to the International Auto Show. My name is Victor Mueller. I'm the founder and CEO of Spyker. It's always hard to talk after Christian Koenigsegg because not only does he make the most amazing cars in the world, but his technology is just mind-blowing. And his speech gave me a good cause to think about the electromotors in our car. And I counted 3. We have an electric windscreen wiper and 2 electric windows. But they do not perform the way his car does. We just make very nice handcrafted cars which only have 525 horsepower. But for our customers, they do the job. This is the brand new Spyker C8 Preliator, which we unveiled 3 weeks ago at the Geneva Salon. For us, Geneva in Europe is the single most important auto show. But second to that is being here in New York. And we wouldn't be here if our very first dealer in America, Manhattan Motor Cars, Brian Miller, would have not come to Geneva in his capacity as a member of the board of this wonderful auto show and said this car needs to be in New York. So next thing you know, DHL put the car in a box and here it is today. The Preliator is what we call the 3rd generation sports car from Spyker. I started the company back in 2000 and since then we have made 267 cars. So you could argue quite exclusive. And out of those 267, there are about 120 in the United States. We started importing them in 2005. And what's very interesting for the American market is the residual value of Spykers. What we've seen in the past few years is an amazing appreciation of anything boutique. The Koenigsegg's, I mean, you can't buy or find a Koenigsegg below its sticker price, and the same accounts for the Paganis and definitely for the Spykers. They become exceptionally interestingly priced cars, very, very expensive, and it's a big attribute to the craftsmanship that we put in our cars. People appreciate them, and whether they're 10 or 12 years old, they still trade above sticker price. Quite something. This car has an aluminium space frame, which is developed in-house. It's got the fuel cells inside the sills, and everything and anything that has to do with it, we basically tested at Le Mans, where we participated 8 times quite successfully. This car is our first car with a full carbon body. In the past, we always used aluminium bodies, but now that the technology of carbon fiber has become much more accessible, we have decided that in view of its tremendous strength, the lightweight capacity, and of course the fact that we now can create shapes in carbon fiber that were initially simply not possible, sharp creases for instance, we've decided to create now a car with a full carbon body. The car has the classic, for us, classic 4.2 Audi V8. It's an unbreakable engine. We've had now, as I said, 267 cars on the road. We've never lost an engine. But for this particular car, we have supercharged it. So it now boasts 525 horsepower. The design of all Spykers is very much inspired by the company's aviation heritage. The company started in 1880 as a coach builder by 2 brothers in the city of Hilversum in the Netherlands, and they made very high-end coaches. The culmination of their coach building efforts was building what is called the Golden State Coach for the Dutch Queen, a present from the people of Amsterdam to the Queen in 1898. And in that very same year, Spyker started manufacturing cars. But cars, of course, in those days was really nothing but a dog cart with a 1-cylinder de Dion Bouton or Mercedes engine. Spyker really did very well, and just a few years later they became the very first car manufacturer ever to build a 6-cylinder engine and a 4-wheel drive car. That technology developed, and in 1914 Spyker became an aircraft manufacturer by merging with the Dutch Aircraft Manufacturing Company, and hence the beautiful logo that was introduced in that year, which is shown here on the nose of the car, of a wire wheel with a propeller. So when I started the company back in 2000, I took the aviation heritage of the company as my lead motive for our design language. So anything we've ever produced is basically designed to be a road jet, the closest you can get to a plane with no wings. And with the Preliator, which means fighter in Latin, and it refers back to, of course, the fact that Spyker made fighter planes, but also to the fact that we've seen some very tough years and we fought our way out of it. That fighter spirit is now embodied in this car, and you'll see, when you have a closer look, all the elements and the attributes of the aviation heritage of the brand. In particular, the car now has NACA ducts, which are typical aviation air inlets. They reduce drag on the car quite considerably because they're into the body, and we have one in the top of the car as well. It directly feeds into the engine. The wheels are turbine-inspired wheels. The rear lights, which you unfortunately can't see, are like afterburners of the F-35 Raptor. In fact, the F-35 Raptor fighter jet has been an inspiration for the color of this car too. It's a satin finish, we call it Preliator Jet Grey, and it's a massive undertaking to get it right, but here you are. This is the basically the translation that we made of the color of the fighter jet. Spykers are very well known for their handcrafted interiors, and this car is no exception. The best and finest leathers, beautiful stitching, all handcrafted, and a very tactile dashboard with flick switches, beautiful starting procedure with a main kill switch, and our buyers, our owners, are absolutely in love with the fact that everything is so handmade and beautifully crafted. What is also quite interesting to see is the fact that our cars have now really become collectibles. We're only going to make 50 Preliators, and that has resulted in basically a home run for our clients to get one. And I can tell you today we've sold 31 of them out of the 50 only that we're going to make. So if everything goes according to plan and Manhattan Motors does the job, I would think that by the end of the month we'll be sold out, which is great for a small car manufacturer. Boutique brands are flourishing right now, and we just can't wait to get these cars on the road. Production will start by the end of this year, and the first cars in America are going to be here by spring of next year. I would be delighted to take any questions you may have. This is a first for the car on this continent. We will be in Pebble Beach this year. We've basically been to Pebble Beach every year, and we will do some test drives with the journalists who would feel inclined to do so. And if you have any questions, this is the time to ask them. Thank you so much. Oh, well, no, I won't take any questions about our windscreen wiper. That is just a little bit too tricky. Any questions?
The price.
The price. Yeah, you remind me of the Rolls-Royce situation in the 1960s, right? If you asked the price, you didn't have any money. But indeed, I should have mentioned the price. You're absolutely right. This is America, right? Prices do count. The prices start for a manual gearbox at $355,000. The F1 shifter is about $10,000 more expensive. There is an interesting thing, and I'm actually glad you asked this question, because it brings a certain unexpected issue to the surface. When we started manufacturing cars back in 2003, all of our cars were manual gearbox. And after 6 years into the game, demand for automatic gearboxes, automated manual transmissions, became so high that we introduced the aileron with a much longer wheelbase and a longer tail section so that we could house a ZF 6-speed automatic. And so we sold automatics. If anybody would have told me 10 years ago that we would be going back to manuals, I would have laughed in his face. But I think that automated manual transmissions have become such mainstream that they've lost a bit of their luster. So I can assure you that out of the 31 cars that we've sold, 29 are manuals. Manuals are back with a vengeance. And I can assure you that as the manufacturer, I love that. I mean, the engagement of a manual gearbox is unprecedented. It's really what you want from a sports car, to be in charge. So I'm really pleased with the fact that the manual gearbox is on the rise, and I encourage all of my buyers to buy one with manual gearbox. Any further questions? Anyone? Then that concludes. Oh, one more.
Hi, Victor. Welcome
Hi.
back, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Any regrets about the whole Saab experience, or do you feel there were important things that you...
I should refer here to what the greatest man in our industry, Enzo Ferrari, once said. What's behind you doesn't matter.
Oh, I like that. Why not?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.